Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Play Board Game Edition. I'm your host Mark Ion, and this week I'm going to be covering a dice rolling press your luck game from Playco Games called Danger Danger Dinosaur. Okay, so like always, we're going to start out with setup. So the first thing you need to know is that there are two different types of cards and two different decks that you're going to be dealing with in this game. You have your game deck, which has Danger Danger Dinosaur on it, and you have your bonus decks, which has the question mark on it. They need to be separated before the game starts, and they're used in different areas of the setup. So for now, we're just going to move the bonus deck aside. We're going to start out with the the game deck. Now, we're going to build a circle in the center of the table to create the decks that people are going to be buying from. Each of the decks and each of the different resources and pieces that we use are going to be specific to the number of players that we have. So I'm going to, for an example, set up a 3-player game. I'll just note that the exact numbers will change depending on the number of players. So, for example, the top half of the circle, the top 5 stacks, are going to be made from the game deck, and they're going to have one card in each pile for each player playing. So we have 3 players. I'm going to put 3 cards in each stack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move that over. So we have my 5. I have my 5 piles, and then I'm going to 2, 3. So now that's the game decks are all set up. So those are the game decks. Then you're going to take these 2 cards here, the mammoth bones and the family members, and they're going to become the top of the bottom half of the circle. And they go here. I guess I'm going to make more of an oval in this case. Move it up a little bit. And then the bottom half of the oval is going to be 3 decks of bonus cards. And like the game cards, you're going to put 1 card in each pile for each player. So I took 9 cards out, so we have our 3 cards in each pile of the bonus deck. Now we need to set up the starting mammoth bones and family members that players can buy during the game. So family members is 3 times the number of players. So we have 3 players, that's going to be 9 family members. So I took 9 family members out of the box, and we're going to put them on this card. I guess you can put them at the arrow, but for me, I prefer just putting them on the card. Makes the game a little more compact. And then we have to set up the mammoth bones, and there you put down 2 mammoth bones for each player. So we have 3 players, so we're going to put down 6 mammoth bones on that card. So then you take 5 dice. All players will always start rolling 5 dice at the beginning of the game. You can never roll less than 5 dice. There are ways to get access to the other 2 dice, but I'll get into that later. So now that's all the setup. These cards here, the green, blue, and red bonus cards, those are used at scoring at the end of the game. You could actually take the rest of the game deck and the bonus deck, and you can put them back in the box. They are not going to be used for the rest of the game, as well as the other family members and bones. They're not going to be used as well. So once you have this set up, you're going to flip over the top card of each of the decks, and those are going to be what is available to buy. So, and I'll get into how you buy these cards in a bit. So once that is done, each player takes 1 bone from the bone pile. So I would take 1, this player over here is going to take 1, and this player over here is going to take 1. So everyone starts out with 1 bone, but no one starts out with any family members. All the family members stay sitting where they are. Then that's the setup. Then I'm going to talk about, I'm going to move into how turns work. So now that the game's all set up, you'll notice I actually moved all the cards down a little bit so you can see how many cards are behind them, because it's kind of important to know how many stacks are left, because the game ends when you run out of cards. So it's important to know how many are left in each stack, so you know how far progressed through the game you are. The game can be broken down into really 4 phases per turn. Phase number 1 is buying any of the bonus cards. Those cards, as you'll notice here, can be bought with family members or with bones. They do not actually use the dice, which is why you buy them before you roll the dice. Also, both the family members and the bones give you bonuses during rolling, so it's kind of a risk versus reward situation. Do I spend them now before I roll the dice and not get the bonus to get the points, or do I want to not buy them this turn, maybe try to get it next turn and use the bonuses that they provide? The second phase is where you roll the dice, and you re-roll the dice, adding dinosaur dice, but I'll go into that a little more depth in a little bit. The third phase is using the dice so once you've stopped rolling, assuming you haven't been scared off by dinosaurs, you take the dice that you've rolled and you can buy things. You can buy big ideas, which are denoted by having the big victory point number on top, or tools, which give you multipliers to big ideas that you've either had or buy later, depending on the situation. Or you can buy family members, or you can buy bones. So that's the third phase. And the fourth and last phase is basically where you just reset the board. You flip over. So say I bought this tool, I would flip this card over, so the next person had something to buy. And that's the basic overview of the game. So I'm going to get into a little more depth, the different phases. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first phase is where you buy the bonus cards. Now, buying bonus cards with bones versus buying cards with family members are similar, but also they're a little different. So basically, since everyone starts out with a bone, anyone would be able to buy this flute, this bone flute, on the first turn by discarding their bone, and they would take that bone and they would put it back on the mammoth card that we saw earlier. They would just take it and put it back there. So it can be bought later. Each player can only have 2 bones at a time. I'll talk about that more. I'll reiterate that when we go over buying bones. The family members buying cards are a little different. During the game, at any time, you can only ever have 3 family members. This is important because when you buy these cards, rather than return the family members back to the family member card, you'll notice how I have them standing up. When you buy them standing up. That means that they give you bonus dice. When you retire them to, say, the cave with a view, you take them and you lay them down. Because they're retired, so they lay down. Now they no longer give you that bonus, but you get 50 points, 50 points at the end of the game. So it's a trade-off. And now because you can get up to 2 bonus dice by having 2 extra workers. Since I retired 2 guys, I can only have 1 active worker because that would give me 3. So I will never be able to get back up to 7 dice. The most I will ever be able to have is 6 dice because I retired 2 workers. So that's buying cards in the first phase, and the pros and cons of that. So now to the second phase, rolling the dice. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning, everyone is going to always roll 5 dice. So the number of dice you roll per turn depends on the number of family members you have. So you roll 5 dice plus 1 white die for each family member you have that is active, meaning standing up. So if I have no active family members, I roll 5 dice. If I have 1 active family member, I'll roll 6 dice. If I have 2 active family members, I'll roll all 7 dice. If I have 8 active family members, I still only roll 7 dice because the maximum is 7. These red dice are the dinosaur dice, and these are the white dice are the resource dice. Dinosaur dice are bad. You don't want to get those dinosaur eyes. It means the dinosaur's watching you. I'll cover that in a second. So basically, let's say I don't have any family members right now. So I'm going to roll my dice. So I got a whole lot of gears, some water, and a hand. Now, I didn't really get, and I'm not using these because I don't have any workers. Now, I didn't get exactly what I wanted. So, I like the water, I like the hand, I want to keep them, but I would really like to re-roll these gears because there's nothing out that I want to buy with them right now. So what I do to re-roll them is I take one of the dinosaur dice, I add it to these dice, put these dice aside, and now I re-roll these dice. And I got nothing, which is good, which means I get to continue. I got 2 water and a gear. Well, I'm not happy with that either. I was really hoping to buy really hoping to buy a family member. So, as you can see here, I need meat, water, and fire, and I only have a water. The hand is for one of the other cards. Like I want to go swimming because I got some water. So I'm trying to save up for that. So I obviously still don't have what I want. So what I can do now is I can, for a second time, re-roll the dice. But now I have to add 2 red dice to my hand, or to the dice pool. And I roll them. And okay, I'm safe. I got the fire that I wanted, but I still didn't get exactly what I wanted. Now, I can re-roll one more time. You can only re-roll 3 times by taking this last die and adding it to my hand and re-rolling these dice. So I really want that meat so I can get that family member. So, oh no, I rolled dinosaur eyes. Now this is what makes re-rolling dangerous. These dinosaur eyes. Anytime you get at least 1 dinosaur eye on your roll, you lose your turn. You don't get to use any of the dice that you've saved or have rolled, and your turn immediately ends. Now, these dinosaur eyes can be negated. 1 eye can be negated for each bone you spend from your supply. So everyone started out with 1 bone. If I had rolled only 1 dinosaur eye, I would have been able to spend my bone, put it back on the mammoth bone pile, and negate that die, but unfortunately in this case I rolled 2. So I will not be able to, so I would lose my turn. So that's the danger of re-rolling. So it's a risk-rewards kind of thing. I didn't get anything with my rolls. I didn't get what I wanted with my rolls, but I could have bought that 5-point swimming card with the hand in the water. I just got greedy and I went too far. So that's how rolling works. So, assuming you didn't get any dinosaur eyes, you then take the resources that you rolled, and then you get to buy things. And that's step number 3. So we'll move on to that. Okay, so we have now started phase 3 of the turn. So I have the dice that I rolled and that I kept. I didn't roll a very good hand. As I can tell, I have a hand and I have a water. So I can do the swimming. I can put my water and the hand there. So I can get the 5 points for swimming. But I can't really do anything else. I don't have any gears, and each of the other game cards require gears, so I don't have any of that. I don't have 2 bones, so I can't get a mammoth bone. And I don't have any meat, so I can't get any family members. So I'll get the swimming card. It's not a total waste of a turn. It's not a lot. The other 3 dice are going to be wasted because I can't use them. But it still is better than having gotten a dinosaur scare me off and not get anything. So I would return these to the pool. I would take the swimming card and I would put it in front of me face up because it's a big idea. So it's worth 5 points. I'd put it face up. I think I didn't mention that in the bonus in buying bonus cards, those get put face down in front of you, while these get put face up. So you can always tell how many points people have from big ideas, mainly because you need to show how these tools are being used. So you can't really keep that a secret. Some people could move things around. So that's why that is, I believe. I do want to talk about how tools work, because tools are a little more complicated than other things. When you buy a tool, there are 3 different situations that can come up. The first situation is you buy a tool and you don't have anything of that color, because this is a blue tool, this is a red tool. This can only be used on the water big ideas. This can only be used on fire big ideas. So, let's say I were to buy this one and I didn't have any blue big ideas. I would just put it in front of me and it wouldn't be doing anything at the time. Now, and it would just stay there, and as soon as I bought a blue big idea, the very first blue big idea I bought would go on this. I would not get to choose to keep it for later. It would automatically happen. I have to do it. The second option is if I have one blue idea, so I say I had swimming, and I bought the blue tool as well, I would have to put it on to swimming, doubling it, making it worth 10 points. I couldn't hold on to the tool, wait for later, try to get and put it on a bigger blue later in the game. I have to immediately put it on the blue because I already have one. The third and final option is if I had 2 blues. Say I had swimming and then I had, pretend this red one was a blue. I would then get to choose between the 2. Obviously putting it on the larger one. Because it would be worth more points. But the only time you get to a choice is when you already can have 2 big ideas that do not have tools on them of the same color. You can't put 2 tools on the same big idea. You can't quadruple the points. That would be awesome, but it doesn't work like that. Yes, so that's how that works. Things to note, you can buy as many bones or family members as you want in a turn, but you have to remember the maximum limits. A person can only have 2 bones under their control at a time, and they can only have 3 family members total, either active or retired, ever throughout the game. So you can buy multiples, but you have to follow those limits. Yes. Also, you'll notice because you put at the beginning of the game 2 bones for every player, you'll never run out of bones that you could buy, because as soon as you put 6 bones down for 3 players, if each player has 2 bones, there's none in there, but also no one can buy a bone. So there's not really a competition for that. Same with family members. Everyone, you put 3 down for each player, and they can have a max of 3. So you never have to really worry about running out of those, which is good, I think, for a children's game. Okay, so let's say I bought my swimming. I'm gonna take that. I put it in front of me face up, and now we're gonna move to phase 4. Phase 4 is pretty simple. All we do is we take all the piles that that we bought cards from, and we flip up the top card, showing that so the next person has a full area to buy from, and that's an entire turn. Play goes like that until one of two conditions are met. Either all of the game cards have been bought, or all of the bonus cards. Let me bring them up here. All of these cards have been bought. So when one of the 2 sets has been completely bought out, the game immediately ends. So if someone finished the game by buying the last bonus card, they would end the game before they roll their dice. They would not get to roll their dice that turn, and the game would end, and you'd score points. So now, once we've gotten to the game end, I'll talk about how scoring works. Okay, so scoring is fairly simple, but it comes in 2 steps. So the first thing everyone wants to do is see how many points they have in each color. So, for example, this player here has a balloon with a red tool, making it worth 15 times 2, 30 points. They have a cave with a view that is fire, red. So that's worth 50, so we have 80 points in red. The person only has swimming in blue, so they only have 5 points in blue. And they got a coconut grove worth 20 and medicine worth 15 in green. So they have 35 in green. Then everyone compares their score in each color. The person who has the most in a color gets the corresponding bonus card. So this player here had 80 in red. That's a lot of points for red, so he got the highest in red. But his 5 and 35 weren't high enough. Other people had higher in those colors, so he would not get these cards. So once the bonus cards are dealt out, you figure out how many points each player got total. So here, as I said, we got 15 times 2 is 30. 50, so 80 points, plus 5 for swimming brings it up to 85. 15 brings it up to 100. Another 20 brings it up to 120. Bones score for number of sets. So for 1 bone card, you get 5 points. For 2 bone cards, you get 15 points. And for 3 bone cards, you get 30 points. Well, this player only has 1 bone card, so they get 5 points. So that brings them up to 125. Because we had 120, 125, and then plus 25 for their bonus, that brings them up to 150. So this player's total score is 150 points. Note to be made about bone cards, you can have more sets, more than 1 set. So say if a player had 5 bone cards, they would have a set of 3, which would be worth 30 points, and they would have a set of 2 that was worth 15 points. So they would get 45 points for their bone cards. And that's how you play the game. I hope to see you back at the Wall of Weaponry. Well, that's all for the rules. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my review and playthrough videos.